Well, it started as something, but I let it go. When your best amounts to nothing, you have to let it show. Take it down to the city, take me down in the night, make it all into nothing. The pressure's got me, don't wanna see tomorrow. All I got when it's light, gonna make the feeling nothing. The pressure's got me tonight. Keep on working and working and working and working on out. Keep on working and working and working and working on out. Yeah, yeah. Don't wanna see tomorrow. The pressure's got me. Yeah, the pressure got me. Don't wanna see tomorrow. Oh, wake up when it's light. Yeah, the pressure got me. Don't wanna see tomorrow. Oh, wake up when it's light. Yeah, take it down to the city, take me down in the night, make it all into nothing. The pressure's got me. Don't wanna see tomorrow. Oh, wake up when it's light, gonna make it feel nothing. The pressure's got me tonight. Keep on working and working and working and working on out. Keep on working and working and working and working on out.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Blackout Gaming TV. The action is over, the season has finished, but there's still just a little bit of finishing business for us to attend to. That is, of course, to find out who won the individual awards of best classes of the season. Just a little bit of extra boasting power before we head into season 14. I'm CeeJaey, and I will be your host tonight, and I'm joined by a number of other people. You can see them on the cameras. Give us a cheeky wave when I say your name if your camera is open. We have Cronk, who's been organizing this award show for us in the past few weeks, and is the lead Premiership team Lucrosa. We also have DVS, medic last season for the team. Oh my god, what was your team name called?
Suicide Squad.
No, it wasn't.
Crazy Boy.
Crazy Boy Clan. You were crazy boys, you were crazy girls. Crazy Boy Clan. We then have Porky, who last season was sniper for Highlander Esports. We also have Sandburn, who was the heavy, one of the leaders for Super Dickmans. And last but not least, we do have Stinson out, our very own head admin, looking as gangster as always. And in the background, you can't see him, you won't even hear him, but the guy who puts all of the funny features on the screen is, of course, Blackout John, who's doing the production in the background for us. So welcome to everyone watching the show, and welcome to all of you guys. It's good to have you. Of course, we had seems relatively short compared to previous seasons, just 5 or 6 regular weeks, and then a couple of weeks of playoffs, and then bada bing, bada boom, we were done. But everyone wants to hear the awards, so I'm going to head straight towards some questions, and I'm going to start from looking at the cameras from the bottom left there. We have DVS. DVS, you played for Crazy Boy Clan last season. You guys won high in season 12. You guys did very well. You won back-to-back titles, sort of mid and then high, and then got promoted to Prem. Kind of coming into Prem, you're always going to be underdogs because coming in from high, it's always very difficult to come up against teams who played a lot. Were you expecting to stay in Prem, or was kind of the result where you finished where you expected?
We didn't expect to stay in Prem. I don't think it was also that we went from mid to high to Prem like really quickly, so we didn't have much time to adjust to the skill level or to the amount of team play you see in every division. It was a bit overwhelming, but I'm glad we got some experience out of it.
Are you satisfied with how your season went? Do you think there was anything like over the course of the season that you could have done better? That were playoffs ever kind of an opportunity for you? Do you feel?
I don't think playoffs were ever in reach, but there was always stuff we can do better. I mean, in every situation, really. But all in all, I'm just glad it happened.
Yeah, don't regret what you didn't do. Don't regret what you did do. You had the experience. Looking forward to season 14. That's happening November, I believe. I'm sure Stinson will give us a nod on the camera. If it is November, he's wobbling his head. It's around November, towards the end of the year. Looking towards next season, is Crazy Boy Clan a thing? Are you going to be playing for them? Are you going to be playing in Prem next season, or is the team going to, are they going to go for the preseason playoffs or anything like that?
It's still uncertain. I mean, we're trying to rebuild, and people are still unsure if they're staying. Some of the people, but we're definitely gonna try, man. I have a lot of fun playing with these guys, and I don't want it to end, so I'm gonna make an effort. We're gonna probably try and get into Prem. If not, we're gonna play a bit of high. It's always fun.
That's good. That's good. It's always nice to hear people like wanting to come back and just play TF2, like not just say Prem is the be all under the or the end all, of trying to get in, Yeah,
definitely.
No, but thanks for talking, and I'm going to move along the list now. Next is got a nice picture of a cow there, farm boy. We're joined by Porky, who last season you were close in the awards. I think you were runner-up on debut of the season, and you had another solid season this time around for Highlander. My main question is going to be, after season 12, Chess Club folded again for the second time, and there was a bit of like a power vacuum heading into to maybe the playoff spots. Obviously Strong Opinions and SCCK were still around, but that kind of third spot was open up for grabs. And I think by default, a lot of people assumed Highlander were just going to kind of waltz in there and take it. And I agreed. I thought, you guys were the next strongest team. So not reaching the playoffs must have been disappointing for you. Like, do you want to just talk us through, like, did you guys ever feel that third wasn't going to be achievable? And, what were your feelings?
I thought third was always going to be achievable. But, I thought we were going to make playoffs quite easily. providing we beat Dickman's Juniors, and we beat Dickman's Juniors the first week. So I thought, yeah, that's pretty much should be playoffs. But then I can't play the last week, and the team loses to Crazy Boy. So I'm not quite sure how that happened.
It happens, man. It's not your fault.
So do you think if you were there, things would have been different? Do you think the Porky would have pounded? Sorry, Proky pound.
Maybe. I don't know, but yeah.
So I mean, over the course of the rest of the games that you played this season, were you kind of happy with the way that the team played and yourself?
Yeah, I think the team played alright. I could have played better myself, but yeah, I think overall, like, the performances were alright apart from that last week. So yeah, it's alright.
Okay, and kind of looking ahead, I've seen Failer are playing in UGC, so I assume this team is. There were kind of rumorings that they'd packed it in and Failer was dead for good, but it seems they are back playing UGC, so I would assume they're back for season 14. Are you going to be a part of that?
No, I'm not playing for the next season, no, but they are going to be playing next season.
Could you give us any insights on on the team, any changes? I mean, Failer is well known for changing their roster a lot season on season, so do you know any of the major changes to the lineup?
As far as I'm aware, they've got like Kokoto on heavy, but I'm not sure if he's going to play the next season for them on ETF2L at least. But they've got Strono 8, the Pyro 4 open squad. He's now playing for them. And I've heard rumours of Cloudy going to be playing for them on Sniper. Not sure about that though. And they're still looking for a scout. They haven't got a heavy if Kokoto doesn't join them. And they haven't got a scout. Yeah, Joe and Layla of course are staying, and Mezzo's staying. Apart from that, yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay, interesting. So it'll be interesting to see how that kind of evolves over the UGC season, whether that's basically a trialing ground for them.
Yeah, I think it is.
Okay, that's interesting. Well, thanks for giving us the feedback, even though you're not technically part of the team anymore. It's always good to hear. Moving along to the bottom there, we have Sandburn, who was, of course, victorious in this season. We used kind of how, it's kind of difficult when you're talking to somebody who actually won the season, but, it's a bit of a silly question to say, you please, but, did the season go as you expected?
Well, yeah, kind of. I thought the finals were going to be 50-50 between SO and us anyway, so that was basically all I had in mind.
Yeah, the finals were pretty close. Was there any kind of major turning point for you in the final that you thought, because you lost the first map and then the second map was, a golden cap again. Was there any moment where you thought, oh, we've actually done this?
No, not really. I thought almost everything was just as close. Every game was still 50-50. I mean, we lost by 1 round on Gully Wash, I think, which is not a lot. So it could have gone either way, I would say.
Okay, yeah. I mean, yeah, it did seem one of the closest finals we've seen in recent seasons. I think it's the first final to go to 3 maps since season 10. So that's always good to see a nice close match. Looking forward to season 14. I see SCCK aren't playing UGC. Are you returning for season 14? And are there going to be any major changes to your lineup? If so,
I think almost half of the roster is gonna change because a lot of people can't play anymore. But I think Yahoo is leading it as well next season, so they're gonna continue. But I don't know which roster or who's on what.
Okay, so it's again maybe like Failure, just going to be kind of ever developing over the next couple of months and until the season starts, I assume.
Yeah, I already know some of the players who joined it. Apparently, according to this thing I'm reading, they have Granger Bob as well now on Spy. So I guess the man is not playing.
Okay.
Big.
Any other names you can drop us?
I see Cherry on Engineer as well.
Oof.
Oh, okay. So, I mean, I know Cherry played some games for you last season on Medic, so I guess, yeah, that's probably a natural pick if Clark's not playing. So, oh yeah, well, thanks for talking to us. Thanks for giving us the feedback. Who else do we have here? Nobody from the previous season, and, John's not going to say anything. We'll come to Stinson a little bit later. He's a head admin. He can wait. He's, you got to save the best till last, But we do have Cronk here. Again, thanks to him for organising and throwing everyone together to get this going. And you guys, congratulations, won high for season 13. So, you you can almost you're nearly there to call yourself a Prem player. You know, you're kind of technically Prem at the moment. So as long as you don't go changing too many players on the roster, or you know, you don't go breaking your wrist before week 1 next season, you can say you're a Prem player. But kind of, how did your high season? You know, you probably know more than anyone else here about the other high teams. How did you feel your high season was going? Do you see any other teams that were super close to you?
Well, like, definitely. The season wasn't like an easy season at all. There were lots of good teams. That awkward moment was probably our closest game, actually. The semifinal, the Finnish dominated team. They were really good, like good synergy and really good players. And of course, Envision, like they're always top high. So yeah, those 2 teams were all like the biggest opponents this season.
How do you feel, you know, compared to the rest of the teams in Prem? I mean, it's very early days with, you know, a lot of teams changing, you know, large amounts of rosters. Basically, no one's confirmed. How would you feel based on season 13's kind of level of Prem and of high? How do you think you would fare? You know, if you were to have been playing Prem season 13, do you think you would have been able to avoid relegation, or would you have struggled perhaps?
It's really hard to say. We didn't scrim that many Prem teams at all, actually. We used like practice, like refining our strats and stuff against top high teams. Like went through demos and stuff. So it's hard to say how we would do, but I think we would be able to contest like the bottom 2 at least. But it's hard to say. With like Fela is much better than us for sure, and so juniors are like up there as well to than us. So yeah.
Okay, and kind of looking forward to next season. Again, it's a long way, but you know, would it be a step too far to say that you could maybe challenge for playoffs, or is just avoiding relegation going to be the aim for season 14?
It's really hard to say, especially since we lost 3 players as well. So we need to replace 3 players, or Demo, Pyro, and Medic, which is like the whole team. Like it's our combo. It's the core of the team. So we haven't started trialing people yet. We're gonna start next week. So yeah, it's really hard to say what we're gonna do.
Okay, so again, it seems like most teams are kind of up in the air with regards to rosters, and no one really knows what's going to happen, which adds to the excitement, of course. You know, if we had it all setted out, then you know there'd be no suspense, no drama in the next couple of months. But finally, we're going to come to Stinson. Stinson, can't really ask you about anything team related, and I really don't want to delve into things like, oh, you know, this map, is it good, and this loadout, and why do you ban this weapon? How were your feelings on the season? Did you enjoy, okay, there weren't very many games casted, but as a spectator, as an admin, were you kind of proud of the way that the season went on?
Well, good evening, first of all. I did not follow the season much because, as you said, there weren't many games casted. So, as a player who wasn't playing in this Prem season, I was in open, getting outsniped by sandbaggers. I really didn't follow the season much, so I was very surprised by the nominations some teams gave me, and I am glad to see some of these names in these lists, and I'm sure everyone had a good time. I can't really tell because I actually haven't seen. I think I've seen one map of the grand finals, and that's pretty much it. So, but it's a somewhat new for me as well to be like that much on the outside of a season. So I'm really excited to listen to you guys and see how you guys felt about it. But I don't have any input.
Okay, well that's good. You're just kind of overseeing and making sure the kids are playing nicely. That's what a good parent does. You step in when people be naughty. You don't have to. As long as you're not intervening, it's good. That's enough talking. We've talked for a good quarter of an hour now. We want to get on to see who's won the awards. So for those of you who have just joined us, this is the award show. We are going to be handing out the individual awards for season 13 Prem. So there are 11 categories. It used to be 12, but caster of the season isn't a thing for this season as there were not very many games casted. I think it was only 3 in total. So it's not really a good pool to pick some casters from that. So we'll be having the 9 classes from Scout all the way through to Spy. And then we will have debut of the season. That is the player who has played Prem for the first time this season, who performed the best according to your votes. And the final one is MVP, which is, people say, best player, or, the person who was the most valuable player, who, did the best for their team, did the best and was most impactful, should we say. Up for interpretation, maybe, but generally it's regarded as the best player. These players were nominated by the other Prem players. So Stinson, up there. He's that way to me. Yeah, he's over there. And Stinson sent out some lists of people and said, guys, nominate who you thought was the best at each class, debut and MVP. And then the nominations were counted up. Those were put up on the ETF2L site for you guys to vote, and you guys chose who you felt was the best at each class and who was the best players overall. And I don't know anything. I don't think anybody knows anything except for Stinson, sorry. He is literally the only man in the world right now who knows what is going on. So there's literally no spoilers. So we will start off with Scout, and then the rest of us will discuss and say, you're wrong, you're right, we agree, we disagree, and then that's open to the panel for some feedback. But Stinson, do you want to start us off, man?
Thank you for this great explanation, CeeJaey, because I wanted to actually address this misconception that when people see the award polls come out, they always complain, why isn't this player nominated? Why isn't he on the list? That's because the peers didn't nominate him. It's not like admins like or dislike people or players at all. We let you guys nominate us and we just take the numbers and crunch them. Okay, so I'm really glad you explained that. Our nominees for the first category, which is Scout of the Season, Highlander Season 13, were Dreamy, CeeJaey, and May. I don't know if you want to discuss these or if I should
I think if you give us the results and then we can kind of discuss them afterwards.
Fair enough. Hang on. There you go. And third place with 29.6% of the votes, it was Dreamy. Actually, one funny thing, I managed to pick the last placed guy on every category except one this time. So whenever there's like the last placed guy I read, that's the guy I voted for. CeeJaey in second place, 30%, and May wins Scout of the Season with 40% of the votes. Congratulations.
Nice.
Did you say thanks or nice?
Nice, dude. May deserved it. He played awesome.
I think if you just look at CeeJaey's performances throughout the season, his stats speak for themselves. Like, stats aren't everything, but when you consider he played against arguably the most difficult teams, the 3 games that he did play, and he had more kills per minute, more damage, and all of that. Like, he was the best in everything he played in, and he played against Failer, and he played against SCCK. He played against, the tough teams, and he performed the best. So, in my opinion, that's who I voted for anyway. I thought CeeJaey, even though he wasn't actually like rostered on a Prem team, that was like part of one of my questions was going to be, can he be nominated? Because he's not actually on a Prem team, but he did play enough games, I guess, to be to qualify. But that was my vote anyway.
I don't know. I'm like unbiased in all these, but I'm kind of glad he didn't win because like you said, he wasn't actually on a Prem roster, and he only played like I think 3 games at all. And I have always this feeling that like people who win these awards should be people that actually played the whole course of the season with all the scrims and all the effort that they put in. So from performance wise, he probably or maybe was the best guy, but I think regardless if it was CeeJaey or not, someone would win that actually played the whole season.
Yeah. Should we do go through who people nominated and voted for, or?
Yeah, I mean, you guys could just give your input. Like, just say if you voted for somebody, whatever your reasons why. Say Cronk, like, who did you vote for and why?
I voted for CeeJaey. He's Swedish. Good stats. Good player,
I voted for Dreamy, just because I had a community server that was active for about a month before it died, and Dreamy would just every time I post an announcement, he'd come on it and try and populate it. So I don't have much of a better reason.
Yeah, Dreamy is a very annoying scout to play against. Like, I played against him a lot in 6s and Highlander, and like he just kind of W's into you, and it's very hard to avoid the death when the Dreamy is on you. So he's kind of a very frustrating player to play against, in my experience anyway.
Yeah, he chases a lot, man. Like, he follows up on damage real well. He's not afraid to go into spam and all that. Very tough to play against.
Yep.
Anyone else want to weigh in on some thoughts?
I voted for Dreamy because he was on my team.
Shit.
There you go.
Sandburn, I
I
assume
Dreamy because he
kind
was
of.
German.
Yeah. I mean, these are all good reasons. Sandburn, I'm guessing you voted for May?
Yeah, I voted for May. It's a good friend of mine, so I only played quite well this season, so I didn't see a reason not to vote for him.
Cool. So we're going to move on to the soldier class. Stinson, do you want to hit us with the nominees?
Very well then. The nominees were Jekyll-X, included middle, and DQZ or DQs. Well, what is the right pronunciation? Do you guys know?
Isn't it just DQZ?
DQ.
Yeah, I think so.
don't know.
DQZ. Okay.
Tegushka.
Something Russian. That's for sure. All right. So, in third place we have included middle with 23.8%. Actually, I voted for him as well. So,
Oof. Bad.
Jekyll-X wins Soldier of the Season with 49.1%,
Oof.
and DQZ gets 27.1%. So
That's a fail.
congratulations to the Jekyll-X.
Man, included middle, like he tore me a new one on Viaduct. I had nightmares for days, and like playing, we thought, okay, Failure, they're a good team. We just got to play solid, and every single fight, we would destroy all of them except for Joe and Middle, who were just on top of me, and I was just dying over and over and again, to the point where Emilio turned around and said, "Why are you dead again?" I'm like, "Because it's Middle. He keeps jumping on my head." So I mean, for that alone, that's why I voted Middle. Like I think he's very, very solid. I mean, Jackie's like really good as well. I think probably when you compare the soldiers, he's probably the best soldier there. But I had to vote for Middle just because he was very frustrating for me personally to play against.
No, I can't go in and like looking at the stats again. Like looking at stats, Middle had by far the best stats of any soldier, and he played his first season in Prem as soldier. It's really impressive. Like he had the best damage per minute. He had also the most med picks by far. Like no one got half his med picks. He got 18. Jekyll-X got 6 med picks.
Yeah, that's just because I fed him, dude.
Anyway, he got 18. Like no one got 10 med picks. The second highest was 7, and that was Seal. So really impressive.
Yeah, he should have won.
Yep.
DQZ shouldn't have been even in the vote. He played shit this season, as far as I know.
Ooh.
And Middle should have won.
Fire.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So I mean, I'm gonna take that, Porky, and I'm gonna throw it out to you. Who, like, you've got Jackie Legs up there, you've got Middle. So what other soldier should maybe have been in the nomination?
I don't think maybe any of them else should have been. It should have just been a 2-man. Maybe Seal, considering it was his first season on Soldier, but maybe it should have just been Middle and Jackie nominated.
Like, thing is, I think if Dima could be nominated, he should have been nominated because he was rostered on SSK though, so I don't think he was eligible to get nominated because they can't have 2 players on the same class from the same team.
Maybe it should have been Dima then.
Yeah, because Dima played, what was it, 2 games for the other Russian team, the Kitties, and then 1 game for SSK, I think, something like that. And he played really well as well. Dima is insane.
I'm glad Jackie won, dude, because he said he'd cut me if he didn't win, so I voted for him. He cut me from the Sixes team. I mean, he also asked like everyone he knew to vote for him, so that probably helped. But he did deserve it. He played very well.
Yeah, I think one factor you can't underestimate is that like most Sixers people, like Sixers playing people who are not playing Highlander, would vote for people they know out of Prem, and Jekyll-X has played like Prem 6 before, so I'm pretty sure that everyone who doesn't care about Highlander and just plays Sixes just voted for Jackie because they remember the name.
Yeah.
So I think that's a factor that plays in on some of these categories, at least in the 6v6 classes that we see here.
Yeah, you can also see like most voted class, like the most voted thingy in the award polls, Soldier 491 votes, by far the most voted one category. So I think
you
it's
got
likely.
access to that.
You can see
You
that.
can see
on
that
the
on the
page.
main page.
All right, yeah.
Yeah, it tells you
I
the total
forgot.
votes.
Yeah, I forgot.
Right, so that's actually good point to make up. That maybe a lot of people who haven't watched the season just go for the names they recognise in the sixes classes. But one class that isn't the sixes class, Stinson, is of course the fireman, the pyro. Can you tell us who was nominated and tell us who won?
Yes, of course. The nominees were Yahoo, Sunrise, Gorston, and Void Trinity.
That's
That was
gonna be
the
a close
only category. Actually, fun fact: I forgot. I lost the nominations Excel I did because I set up my PC on Tuesday and I forgot to copy that, so I can't really tell. But there was the one category I actually had all these 4 on 5 nominations, and then there was like 2 more pirates who had 1 nomination. So I actually had to give all the 4 of these a go, and let you guys decide. That's why this is the only category there are 4 nominees. Just in case you wondered, it's unlikely, but anywho. 4th place, and the guy I voted for, of course, was Gorston with 15.2%. Void Trinity comes in the 3rd place with 22% of the votes. My stud Sunrise did not quite win. 2nd place, 27.5%, and Yahoo takes away the crown with 35.2% of the votes.
Very nice. At least it was close, man. I'm really glad that Sunrise got at least not there are far. It's he played really well this season, man. Like to replace Steve is not easy, and I think he did a good job.
No. I mean, this is probably the closest pyro poll in the last 6 seasons now or something. So something at least.
Why is Void even in the poll? Do you know how many nominations he got?
Did he actually play?
Played
He
2
played
games
2
all
games.
season.
2 games.
Oh.
Like, all these 4 pyros got the exact same numbers of
What the
nominations.
fuck?
Like Void didn't deserve to be
Whoa.
there.
It's debatable because he played only 2 games.
I
so-
think if anyone should have been there instead of Void, it should have been Big T, because he stepped in to sub for us when Void just went away for half the season again, and did a really good job. But yeah, Void was kind of not very good.
Oof.
Yeah.
Some truth.
Yeah, I mean, I've played with Steve for 2 years now, so transitioning to a different pyro is very difficult. But Sunrise has been an absolute beast. So yeah, +1 for me. He's been there was one game, I think it was Borneo. Where him and Viljack, the combination, they were just kind of on a different wavelength. They just knew, and it was just Viljack was just Sin, Jack, yeah, bam. Suddenly they kill 3 people together. They just they were just they played really well together. And we had Sunrise had night shifts and stuff, so some days he wasn't available to play. And it was always very noticeable for me, it always has been when Steve wasn't there, that you have any other pyro, it's a bit of a step down. But this season I did notice when we didn't have Sunrise, I was oh yeah, Sin's not playing. He definitely brought a lot to the table. So it's not to be understated how well he's done. He's done absolutely brilliantly, and he was my vote. I felt he did better. I felt he did achieve a lot with stats wise. I mean, the stats were quite close. I think him and Yahoo were top in basically all of the categories between them.
Yeah, the only 2 pyros that got a positive KD, Sunrise and Yahoo. So yeah, they're category above everyone else in my opinion.
Can I just say though that although I love Steve Pender, I also love that we have an actual pyro competition now, because before you kind of turned us back on TF2, we'd have 60% on Steve, and everybody else didn't even matter because he was just way too good. So I kind of like to see all these very good pyros as well get credit for what they're doing now that Steve Pender's kind of out of the picture.
So you're glad Steve left?
No, I love him. I would rather have him, but for the sake of award polls, it's probably a little bit better for the pyro competition.
Yeah, I agree. I voted for CeeJaey. Like, he did good, man. Even the stats reflected very well. He top damaged and top DPM. Very impressive. Like,
And he
especially
played
for a pyro.
heavy at the Nations Cup and was like a flanking heavy. So for that alone, like, you know, that's got to win your vote. But yeah, I mean, anyone else got anything to weigh in before we move on to another class? Any love for Gorston?
Nope.
Man, I love Gorston. We played with him. And man's smart, and he's an awesome pyro, and he got real mad that us kiddies weren't following his prem strats. But
He's old though.
he's old, but he knows his
Whoa,
shit, man.
whoa.
Yeah, he was lots of fun to play with, but I don't know. He didn't perform as well as the other ones. It's not like we gave him much opportunity to either, so it's not his fault at all. Like,
Yeah, I mean, he's a really good pyro. I think he must be one of the last kind of players who was around a few seasons ago now. I think all the other pyros have maybe CeeJaey is the next oldest. Played on TCA season 10 or so. So yeah, I mean, one of the last old school pyros left now that Steve's left. But we'll move on. We're on to a sixes class again. Stints and Demo Man, tell us who was nominated.
Nominees. Demo Man of the season were Joe N, Ediski, and Spelly. And although I rank them in the polls by how many nominations they got, so I would always state the highest nominated Demo Man or player first. Joe actually got into third place with 18% of the votes, not that many, and winning with the most decisive number of votes with 54.9%.
Big.
That's quite a big number. Is Ediski.
really?
Spelly
Ooh.
in the second place with 27.1%.
Wow.
So congratulations to Adam.
Yeah, that's a big win.
Did Ediski even play this season?
3 games,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
He played all of the games except for one. Like, we got a default win on Steel, I think, Steel Week. So we only actually played 4 games in the regular season, and he only missed 1, I believe, when we had someone as a merc. He played in the semi and the final. I think he's just the best like demo man. I'm surprised Joe was so low. I thought Joe like had a really good season for him. Like compared to his recent seasons, it was more kind of his stats were insane.
Yeah, the DPM, Joe like put out a lot of damage, and he got top kills per minute. That's gotta show something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he had the most dominations as well. So like around the sixes, the Highlander Prem players, he was really well recognized for the season, and yeah, I was kind of happy to see him up there.
Diski got such a big margin of votes probably because of his sixes. He's known so much in sixes as well.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
I felt that Spelly wasn't as maybe as dominating as he was in like last season. I think that was maybe, I don't know if that was a way that you played Sandburn, but it just seemed you got kind of more heals and more kind of focus on kind of fights and stuff. I don't know if that was like a conscious thing that you guys did.
That's probably because I was main calling every season, so kind of makes sense, I guess. Probably if he was main calling, he would have more damage and everything.
Yeah, like if you look at the stats again, look at the heals. Spelly gets the least heals of all demos in Prem. Gets 18.6% average healings received, while Ediski gets 21.3. So that's something like.
Yeah, it's always interesting to see. I imagine Joe got quite a lot because he is
Probably.
yeah, he is the man. I mean,
He is
Porky,
the
what are your feelings on Joe's demo style?
Oh, Joe's great. He's so aggressive and just walks in and then shouts when he dies, but it's all good fun. Like, Joe's a really good player. So yeah, played really well this season as well, and main calling as well. So yeah.
Man, I think Joe deserved to get second place. I voted for Ediski as well, though, just because I saw the stats he put out after a couple of games, and it was just too much, you know. so he kind of deserved it. I thought Spelly would get more votes though. Clock of the season after all, and SDCK winning and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we've got one more class now, which is not a sixes class. So we're back to the Highlander classes. Stinson. It is, of course, the fat man, the Putis. Do you want to let us know who got the nominations for the Russian man?
Yes, the nominees heavy of the season were our very own Sandburn, which I'm gonna call Sandwich because I'm an old school guy. Emilio Estevez and Poker, which I don't even know who he is, but he got a lot of recognition amongst Prem players. I think was he the guy for the Russians?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Kitty.
Yeah, Kitty.
Catman
Poker's
version
an-
2.
Yeah, he's
Wait,
an awesome heavy man. Awesome, really
Is
is.
that Catman? No.
No.
No. But I feel he plays quite a lot like Catman, and I think
Yeah,
like his ability is very similar. Like he's really good from
He's,
what
uh,
I've seen.
he's a big brain heavy. He plays aggressive when he has to, and he performed really well. Like a couple times we had him merc for us, and he knows what he's doing. He doesn't talk much, but he puts out a lot of damage.
Well, fair enough. I always like to see new players come in. Anyways, in third place, formerly mentioned Poker with 19.6%. Perhaps not really known that well, so not judged appropriately. And the ever-going meme of Emilio not winning goes on with the second place Emilio, 37.8%, pretty close, and Sandburn wins with 42.6%, so only 5% between these two. But congratulations, Sandburn. What do you have to say for yourself?
Nothing, really.
Nothing. You're not even thanking to everyone who voted for you.
Oh yeah, thanks
It's
for
kinda
voting for
mean.
me.
I mean, I have to jump in there and say Emilio did win one like season 11, I think. So
Ah,
he
damn.
he has that one little trophy for his shelf. But no, I think Sandburn definitely was the best heavy. Like people always bring up the thing like, oh yeah, Emilio like main calls and stuff like that, which again, I think he's the best main caller. But when it comes to heavy, I think Sandburn really played well. And the game that I did cast this season, which was the semi-final against juniors, I think he was pretty much the one reason why they won, like on Upward. He just was in the right position at the right time to get like the key frags and just destroy pushes by himself. So it's been a while since I've seen a heavy do that. It's kind of like Breakfast Junior style playing almost. But yeah.
Yeah. Like talking as a fellow heavy main here myself, Sandwich is like a heavy to look up to. If you want to get good at heavy, like positioning, also like his main calling for his team. Like if you want to get good at heavy, you should watch Sandwich play. In my opinion, it is insane. And you can see it in the stats as well. Most damage per minute, the best KAD, and yeah, everything is like the best.
Sandwich definitely deserved the heavy of the season. Looking at the stats alone, as well as doing some insane plays and eventually winning the season. It is expected the best heavy wins with his team. I think Poker should have gotten a bit more votes, but he is not very well known yet, so it makes sense that he wouldn't. But next season, there's always next season.
Porky, how do you feel about Moist on your team? And Stinson, you maybe can weigh in on your fellow ETF2L admin, as an additional heavy there.
I think Moist had a very good first season. He played well, called well. Just was good all around, really. No problems with him.
I like Moist. He's fun. He's a hard worker. He does so much for ETF2L. And I wish him good luck in the future, but I have no idea how he plays heavy.
Well, I mean, it is a different class, I guess. It's sometimes unless you do massive plays, it's hard to stand out. Just have to do your job, protect the medic. And another class that kind of maybe struggles to stand out a bit is, of course, the engineer. And we've got some nominations for that. Stinson, do you want to let us know?
Yes, the nominees for NG of the season were Zamperoni. Shout out to Zamperoni. Zach, Ihor, and Clark. And the results were Ihor in 4th place, or Ihor? I don't know. That Ihor?
Ihor. I think
Ihor
that's what
kind
I
of
call
sounds
him.
like he's a slut, so I don't really want to say that. So,
we all are.
anyways, she's in 4th place with 16.3%. Zamperoni in 3rd place, just barely beating Ihor by 2 votes, 16.7%. And Clark of the season goes to Clark, who would have guessed 35.3%.
Oh my fucking god.
Can someone else take over? Because legitimately,
yeah, okay,
legitimately rigged.
Did that guy win again? Really?
In Clark's defense, I scrimmed with my UGC team. I play UGC Silver. Thank you.
Nice.
He merged for the other team, and he actually said that Zach is better than him. So, I think we all agree Zach is the best NG. But like in the grand scheme of things, and Clark managed to persuade enough people to vote for him, I guess.
Fucking stupid, man. This
Every
is so
season
bad.
he says he doesn't tell anyone to vote for him, and every season he fucking Clark of the season, man. Sek definitely
I have to
deserved
say,
it.
I can say with some confidence, if you thought that anyone else was better than Sek at NG this season, you need to take a long, harder look at yourself. Like, you really need to reevaluate your life. Honest to God, he is basically the Steve of Engineer for this season. Okay, nobody like last time when he played for Toucans, he had some good stats and he played pretty well. But this season, nobody even came close to Sek. He was a literal engineer god. And even at one point, Emilio said something to Sek like, "You should have been doing this." And then after the game, he was like, "Sorry, man. Like, you're literally doing everything perfectly. I should never question you." And if Emilio says that to a player,
Exactly.
then fucking that's respect. So yeah, I'm gonna ignore that. I'm gonna say that Sek was engineer of the season. So.
Sek one in my heart, I'll tell you what.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, if someone can link the stats, like it's fucking insane. He got best thing on like every single thing except medpicks. He got the best on every single category except medpicks. Like best damage from minutes, best KD, like not even like a little bit as well. His KD was 2.65, and the second
That's
best
absolutely insane.
So 1.39. That's Clark. Like not even close. Like I don't get it. Like
the thing is, like, you can say a lot about engineers. I know there was like a trend of some engineers having a certain style. Cobbs and Seal had a very similar style where they wouldn't die very much. They had very, very low deaths per minute, and often in like the overall stats that I do. If anyone's got the spreadsheet open, you can take a look at the overall stats. If you look at kind of history, generally it's always the medics who have the lowest deaths per minute. That's to be expected. But people like Cobbs and Seal over time have been in that stat because they play a very passive role and just kind of clean up some frags here and there. But it shows in their stats because they don't get very many kills. You take a look at Sek. He died. His deaths per minute were the only person lower than him was Sprayer, and that was by 0.01. Okay, and he still got more kills per minute than any other NG by an absolute country mile. So, I mean, it's not like he sat back and just didn't die and baited. Like, he stayed alive and he killed everything as well. So, it really does have to... Really just... I mean, there's no argument anywhere else. I can't see it.
I mean, I love the Highlander community as I love any Sixers community or Sixers community, TF2 community. But I think there's a fair amount of memes going on. So, the Clark of the season meme has been a thing, and maybe that kind of swayed into the votes here.
I think him asking for votes swayed into the votes.
That also is a good meme.
Yeah, it's always nice to have a circle jack. We'll move on to the next class, which is the healing class. We got some medic mains here. We can discuss how horrible it is to play in Highlander where everything wants to kill you.
I want to fucking die.
yeah, medic does that to your soul, DBS. I feel you there, man. I feel you there. Stinson, let us know the nominees for medic of the season.
Yes, of course. Their nominees were our very own CeeJaey, Sprayer, and Hard Spots. Not sure how that happened, but
I think that's
Classic
another
Hearts.
meme there.
I love him. I voted for him actually. As you can guess from this statement, he came into 3rd place with 15.1%, and as we probably all expected, 1st and 2nd place were between CeeJaey and Sprayer. And this time, CeeJaey got the crown.
Hey.
With 47% of the vote.
Bobby
and Sprayer
Carlos.
38. Yes. Congratulations,
that's-
CeeJaey.
I was okay. I'm gonna have to apologize because I was about to go into another rant and be like, next time I'm gonna get my subscribers to vote for me, but apparently I don't need to. So, thank you very much.
Congrats, man.
Legitimately surprised.
Yeah, I didn't vote for you, so I don't know how that happened.
Man, I think all the medics this season didn't do that well. I mean, I can speak for myself, but definitely, like, I mean, I voted for Sprayer just because, you know, he's the most, I don't know, kind of not meme medic, I guess, for the most part, at least. But, yeah, congrats, CeeJaey. I mean, it was pretty close as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's one of those classes where it's really hard as a spectator to really like determine how good the medic is. Like, you have to be in the team and know how he's playing and working with the team. So I can't really comment on it, but I know you've been really good for like a lot of seasons, CeeJaey, so I voted for you.
Oh, thank you. I know
Also-
Sprayer's like never dies, so I think that's like he's always very hard to play against because he always seems to be in a position where he gets out and doesn't die.
And drops his entire team, but not his Uber.
I
Yeah,
voted for CeeJaey for his YouTube content. I really like those trading videos and cosmetic videos.
Thanks, man. Someone's got to pay the bills, you know.
My favorite is the loadout videos. I love how you play a Barbie dress up with your, you know, TF2 classes.
Yeah, it's nice to have virtual Barbies now as well, as opposed to
Yeah.
just my real life ones, you know.
Yes,
Sandburn,
so-
I'm going to ask you about Sprayer. How was it? You know, how do you rate him as a medic compared to other medics you played with?
He's probably the most passive medic who barely dies, yeah. So it's nice that he saves his Uber for fights a lot, but I guess that takes away some of the aggression you need now with medics erroring and the switching of weapon speed, and the game is just a bit faster. Maybe it doesn't help as much, but he's still a great medic.
Yeah,
Cool.
I think from what I've seen, like in the past seasons, obviously I haven't been following this season, but Sprayer has been around and you have been around, and I think like he has like the best positioning in a sense that nothing ever is gonna be happening to him, but he has this old school kind of like medic play that he, like Sandburn said, he wouldn't arrow as much and he would probably call less, I would imagine, than CeeJaey, who has been accustomed to Highlander and who has like kind of been in this newer generation. So I think it's like from a medic mechanic standpoint, it's probably better than CeeJaey, but from some like of calling standpoint and from an aggression standpoint, CeeJaey definitely has the edge on him, I think, as a medic main.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that totally.
Where's the stats? Gotta give shout out also to Hearts for dropping 23 times.
Now, I'll have to, seeing as I'm
He was
the man
farming.
who does the stats, I said to him, how did you drop 11 times in a game? And he said it's because in the spawn during the setup time, he kills himself because when you drop Uber and you suicide bind, it gives the +2 to you. So he was getting
Oh
loads of
my
+2s in the
God.
spawn. And I said, so do you know how many times you actually dropped? He said, I don't know. So I just threw everything in there. He said, just put every single drop in there. So yeah, like according to the spreadsheet, he dropped a quarter of all of his Ubers, but that's not really the case.
I mean,
That's why
that's just so
everybody
no one can
hates
call you
Hearts.
shit.
Yeah, he's just masking your bad stats like, shit, I'm gonna get bad stats.
I don't think
Dropping
he's a bad
spawn.
medic though. He's actually pretty good, but it's the Hearts meme, you know. It's
Yeah.
the beggar's bazooka lives within. But we'll move on to the next class, which is the sniper class, Stinson. So who was the best at shooting heads or bodies? You know, either or. People swing both ways these days.
Well, I'm not sure who was the best, but the three guys who you guys thought, like the Prem players thought were the best were Burn, our American nominee, Boar, and the German one, Nate, who I voted for. And that's never a good sign because he actually got into the third place with 20.2%. And pretty decisively though, I have not seen any of the matches once again, but I've heard that Burn did very well. He got into second place only. with
Ooh.
32.4%, and
Oof.
Board takes it with 47.4% of all the votes.
Murica.
Yes.
He's
With
pretty
all-
good. I mean,
Is that because
No, he's good.
Is that because like all the Americans who like voted just for Boar, or is he actually that good that he
It- it
outstats
might also be
everybody with
that.
100 ping or something?
his stats were the best, like mostly the best, and that's taken into fact that on Viaduct week he just ran Hatemaker for, and I quote, the shits and giggles. And on Borneo he wanted to run around with the classic to see how many kills he would get. So he was kind of memeing at times during the season, and he still had insanely good stats when he was actually tryharding. I don't know. People are going to talk about ping difference. I honestly don't know how much it takes into.
It's an advantage, personally.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you know, he probably had that on his side. I know when we've played with KCOT in the past, he always kind of an advantage. But I mean, when it comes to actual fragging potential, like he just got a ton of frags all the time. I don't know about sniper v sniper. Again, that's not something I can really judge. But when it came to just getting frags, he always seemed to be just getting a ton.
Yeah, I mean, like the ping thing is a really hotly debated topic, from what I understand. Like when I talk to Andrew about this, it usually comes up like the enemy team's like, "Oh, I got ping advantage. That way is good." But Andrew says it's just a disadvantage having a high ping, actually. So I don't know.
No, I mean, you could say that, but the way TF2 hit reg works, you can actually, like, it seems you can shoot around corners. It's just because the hitboxes aren't synced up with the animation so well, so you can kind of lead the shot around corners, and you can still headshot. That's what you get with high ping. And now that the US won the Nations Cup, a lot of teams are, they're getting American carries now.
Hell
Right,
yeah,
Cronk?
boys!
Yeah.
Import.
Yeah, exactly. So it's good to see the Americans come as well. I mean, everyone's welcome. But playing against an American sniper is a bit of a headache when you go around the corner and you drop.
Yeah,
I remember playing against KCOT and 300 ping. Like that was annoying to play against, and I remember everyone used to complain when we used him in games. So I'm not sure if like Boar slightly less ping, but he always said that he didn't feel it was an advantage having higher ping because sniper v sniper. He said that he was always like on the receiving end of, he would see the shot second or something. So, but yeah, I mean, I think when it comes to actually like accuracy, it'd be interesting if Logs actually had accuracy stats, like how many shots he hit, because I think when he just had shots, he was just killing like stuff over and over again.
Yeah, they actually use that in NA. Like they use a lot different log system most of the time in NA. What's his name?
Sizzling stats.
Sizzling stats, yeah. That has accuracy as well, I think, for snipers. Yeah, we don't use that, so hard to say. It's also about KCOT. Like, I know Andrew had really good ping. He's from Canada, not from America, by the way, but he played with, what was it? Around 100, 120 ping to EU servers. Which isn't that high, actually. KCOT is he from China?
India, isn't it? I think it's India.
CeeJaey, where's he from?
He's Indian. Yeah, he's Indian.
Indian, okay.
He's also a lawyer, so like we would say, he said just give us 24 hours notice, and we'd be like, oh, like, hey man, can you play on Tuesday? He's like, yes, but I have to be in court the next day, so I just want sleep. And we were like, what the hell, dude? Like, he's like this big shot Indian lawyer. He just comes on and just drops 40 frags a game. It's great.
Yeah, playing against someone with 300 ping and playing with 200 ping, it's a completely different thing from playing with like 120 ping. It's a whole different game, I think, a sniper. Yeah.
Yeah. So another sniper class. Sorry, sneaky class.
Yes.
Is of course the spy, and well, I mean, with the pyro update coming out imminently, there could be some changes to spy, so we could see the styles change since then. But for now, who did people think was the best spy?
Toast.
Yes.
Yes.
No, just kidding. Toast was nominated. The man, I think, who won season 12 actually against Toast. And Metsu, the guy I voted for.
Yeah, me too, man.
Yeah. Metsu is really good. Like he's not the only, but he's one of the few remaining like knife spy heavy spies, which he does really well. He's really difficult to play against, even though he's a knife spy.
Yeah.
Metso. I played a bit with him in Open Squad a while back, and besides being, just the nicest fella, he's one of the last remaining, knife spies. And it's good to see that he's kind of keeping the craft alive, And yeah, I voted for him, man. I think he deserves it.
Yeah, I like looking at the spies, which is like Messu, Grenya. Is there anyone else who uses Snipe Spy heavily? Imba, maybe?
No idea.
Yeah,
Grenya.
sure.
Grenya does.
Yeah, Grenya, Messu, and maybe Imba a little bit. I'm not sure.
I've only ever played against Imba like once or twice, I think. But from when I watched him, he does use the Ambi a lot, but he does get a lot of knife kills. So yeah, I would say he's definitely a Mezzo style player. He does have that mix.
Yeah.
Yeah. We all agree that Mensa's the best spy, but apparently we all scrubbed because he came into third place with 13.8%. I think that's one of the lowest numbers all evening.
What a shame.
And Toast, one Snipe Spy of the season. 51.6%.
That's
pretty
a big
insane.
percentage.
Yeah,
Yes.
impressive amount.
Wow.
The man had 34.6. So congratulations to the strong opinions, guys.
Yeah.
That
Cool.
surprises me. Not because I don't think Toast is a great player. I think, like as always, he had a great season. But I think people always remember finals, and I
Yeah.
think Ziman played better in the final.
Yeah,
I don't
he
know,
had-
based on what Toast told me anyway. He
Yeah,
felt.
got better stats and shit.
Hmm.
Porky, what do you think about spies? Who's the best spy?
Z-Man probably. I mean, I don't think Toast had the best season. I don't think this was the best season, but I think just to bring back on Mezzo, he was a really good spy, and that was his first season in Prem. So I think
Yeah.
he played really well. So should be very good next season as well.
I
Yeah.
didn't play against the man all season. He didn't play on the week that we played on Badwater, and I wasn't there for the final. So I can't say if Zeman's got better or worse since season 12, because that's literally the last time I played against him. But Toast, I felt, had a really good regular season. Like, his stats show it, as always. I think Mezzo is probably one of those spies that has come out and, as a medic, has been very frustrating to play against. Like, whenever we played against Failer, I mentioned before about Middle and Joe kind of being extremely aggressive on your face. Having Mezzo behind as well was just an added threat, so it was very hard to stay alive against them. So, yeah, definitely he impressed me a lot this season.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the stats as well, the most med picks, Toast got the most med picks with 22 med picks. The second one was actually Meso with 15. And then two guys got tied on 14, Imba and Saman. So yeah, Meso did really well, for sure. But I think, personally, that Toast had the best season, not the best final, but the best season. For he has a KD of 1.78, when no one really came that close to. The best damage per minute as well.
Yeah, I think these results are really easily explainable because Meso was in the third place because nobody knew him, right? So he has to make a name for himself amongst the viewers and the public. And then you have Clark Factor, who always asks people to vote for his guys, but he doesn't like the man. So he was like, vote for us, but not for this shitter. And that's how Toast won. I'm pretty sure that's how it played out.
Possible, yeah. But it's interesting because last season the man won, correct? Spite the season?
Yes, that is true.
Yeah. And this season Toast won with quite a big percentage actually. So it seems like most people think Toast is the best, even though man got it last season, which means he must have done something good this season.
Could be, yeah. I mean, I suppose it depends on what people have seen and what they're basing their votes on. But that is our classes. Those are our 9 classes. So just to recap, if I can remember, on Scout we had May. Soldier of the season was Jackie Legs. Pyro Yahoo. Demo was a Disky. Heavy was Sandburn. NG was Clark. Medic was CeeJaey. Sniper was Boar, and Spy was Toast. And now we have 2 non-class specific awards, like we mentioned earlier. We have debut of the season. That is the player who did the best. People thought did the best in their first season playing in Prem. And then we have MVP, which is the overall best player. So Stinson, do you want to take us away with debut to start?
Yes, of course. The nominees for the debut of the season were Kuinu, formerly known as Koff, our all-favorite included middle, and Yixo.
Oof.
Oof.
Yeah,
Two
they
crazy
both
boys.
they all deserve it, man. Like honestly, they played awesome, all three of them.
Yeah, I gotta say, included middle has to win this.
He has to. He played
If he
way
doesn't
better than
win
the
this,
other two.
I'm gonna be upset, man. Like, he was like, you could debate he was the best soldier, which I think he was
I
this
would
season.
say he was the best soldier.
Yeah, he was the best. Like, if he doesn't win debut of the season, those fucking those stats, you know,
Don't say swears, dude. Don't say
it's gonna.
swears.
This is a
This
Christian
is
stream.
this is a Christian stream. Can you? This is
Yeah,
for the,
okay.
the kids, man. This is for the kids. Stinson, do you want to tell us the positions? He was third.
Yes, Ixo, my man, I'm so sorry. I love you, but I
Ah.
voted for you, so you're in third place with 29.4%. It was actually the closest vote of them all,
29.
so yeah,
That's really-
29.4%.
That's quite high.
That's fair, yeah.
It's a top number for like a last place guy, so you know there's definitely some recognition there.
Yeah.
And in the second place, you have included middle,
Oh
32%.
God.
And Kunu, aka Koff, wins the debut of the season with 38%. They're all between 10% of the votes, so that's pretty fair.
Ah,
That's an undeserved award there.
that's undeserved as. Oof, that's
I
bad.
mean, I have to say, like people were saying, all three. I think all three have done very well. Like Yixo's
Yeah.
been a demo that has. I mean, when you're coming up against people like Adiski, who is land proven, and then Joe, who's been around longer than maybe any other demo, and Spelly, who is insane demo. I think you take a look at the players he came up against. He did very well. I think Kunu
Yeah.
did well when you got people like Burn playing, Boar playing. I think Cloudy played a game here. Like he performed well, I think, stats wise, and so did Middle. I think I think all of them. I mean, how close was it, Stinson? You said it was like 29 for Yixo?
29 to 32 to 38.
Wow, so it's like
That's
9%
very close,
difference between the top three. That's probably the closest I've ever seen it.
Yeah, but look at the impact, the actual impact of a player. Included middle had the most impact by far of those three on his team. He was probably the best player, I would say, on Fela. Playing his first season, like being the best soldier and not getting debut is, I don't know what to say. Like it's bad. He should have won that.
Yeah, I think again all three of them, they played incredibly well for a first season. Man, Middle was an awesome soldier. I voted for Exo personally just because he's like the one demo that doesn't piss me off playing with him because he always keeps his cool, and I pump heals in and he spits out damage. So that's who I voted for. My boy Koff played very well as well. Sniper v sniper, top notch stuff. But yeah, I think that Middle did deserve it. Congratulations to Koff though.
Yeah.
It was
I mean,
very
looking-
close.
Thinking about like what middle could have done differently, I'm not sure if he could have played like any better than he actually did. Like
I think it goes back to what Stinson said about, we talked about Mezzo being a really, really good spy, but only picking up like 13% of the vote. And maybe just not as many people recognize Middle's name, like with regards to Soldier. And maybe that transitioned over to debut. I don't know. I mean, it's hard to, like, you'd have to force people to give feedback on why they voted for a certain person, or why they didn't vote for a certain person, because that vote is so close. It literally could be like 10 or 20 votes here and there could be the difference. And I don't know, maybe Sniper people feel is harder, or Soldier, I don't know. I do think any of them could have won it. I think it's unlucky that Middle's finished runner-up on 2.
yeah, Sandwich, we haven't heard of you lately. What do you think about debut? What's the best debut this season?
I'll probably say included middle as well. I mean, if you look at stats, the sniper is meant to pound in stats. It's a sniper's job to get frags, so I would say included middle is the best premier debut.
Yeah. But it seems like, if not the best, like the second best holder easily. While Koff, you could argue he's not in top. He's definitely in the top 3, I would say, snipers. But he's not like the second best or the best one. While middle is the best one on soldier.
Okay, so debut of the season has gone to Kunu, aka Koff, and we just have one more award, Stinson. One more. It's we're getting to that. We're getting to that time again. So who was nominated for MVP?
Yeah, boys, this is crunch time. Depending on how you see it, this is the MVP or Best Player of the Season award, and the nominees on the ETF2 web page were Boar from the America country, Joanne and Toast. And I voted for Joe. Needless to say, even in third place, 20% of the votes. And it hurts me at the same time, as well as it enlightens me, but Boar won the MVP award, 42.3%, and Toast second place with 36%. Quite close one, but Boar is the best player of Highlander Season 13.
I think that's fair. I mean, when you import a player and he does well, that's always nice to see. It's like having a warm embrace into ETF2L, you know. I think he deserved it. I voted for him. He just absolutely pounded.
I think it's fair he won out of those 3, but I think there should have been some nominations from the Super Dickmans team that should have been on the best player. I'm not sure why there weren't, so I think Paul was good.
I was surprised Sandburn wasn't nominated for MVP. Like, just based on the games that I saw him play, I thought he would have been a good shout for MVP. But I think Boar, like, again, like I said earlier when we were talking about Sniper, just the colossal amount of frags he got. I also have to wonder whether this is kind of a residual feeling from the Nations Cup, where he pretty much tore many countries a new one when he was playing, and a lot of those games were casted. You know, and a lot of those were huge games, like against England and stuff like that. So, you know, if you're getting that much exposure and you're constantly pounding, then maybe a lot of people have got that in their back of their minds and think, wow, you know, Boar did really well in the Nations Cup, and, you know, I've taken a cheeky look at the stats and thought, okay, he's done well here as well, and that's where maybe the feeling's gone. But yeah, I agree with that. I mean, again, Joe, I think is. I was glad to see Joe nominated for this because I do feel he pours his heart and soul into playing Vela.
He definitely does do that.
Season after season, like almost every time rebuilding a roster, it takes a lot of work. I'm sure he's a very good player. I think he would have deserved it, man.
He's very passionate about his gaming.
Yeah. Well, was any SSCK player nominated for MVP?
Nope.
Finally.
That's interesting. I mean, if it was one, I would say Sandwich should have been nominated for MVP for sure. Like the impact he has on his team, like main calling, getting those stats as heavy, is insane. Yeah, I think he should have been nominated. If not, like, voted in for the best player.
Yeah, I was just thinking, like, off the top of my head, like, what the spread of MVP, like what classes of whatever won MVP. You know, we've had awards since season 5, and I know Steve has never won an MVP.
No, I think people don't vote for like heavy or pyro or anything like that.
So there's never been a pyro MVP. I'm wondering if, I can't remember who was last year. Was it Dima last season, sorry?
I think so, yeah.
So I don't think there's ever been a heavy unless Breakfast Junior was. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see the spread of which classes get voted for MVP, because when we take a look at it, it's this time around it's Spy, Sniper, and Demo. They're the kind of the flashy classes that get the frags and get the big picks and the big plays.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Sandwich, what do you think? Why are you not MVP?
Did you deserve to be MVP, do you feel?
Not too sure, but I'm just surprised there's not a single player from our team in there. I think that's just a shame, really, especially when you win.
Yeah. I mean, I heard like people, like diversify their votes too much on SSCK players maybe. Like they voted for a lot of classes different classes, which didn't get into the result the last section.
Yeah, I mean, that's the way the cookie crumbles, I guess. That's as we've seen with a lot of these awards. Some people have agreed, some people haven't agreed. But as always, it's who gets the votes, I guess, and who is whoever gets on that homepage and people recognise the names at times. But that is it. That is all of our awards. There's no caster of the season award because, of course, we didn't actually have that many games casted, so it probably wasn't really fair. Can you give us the same standards? Give the casters the same standards as the players, and no one had X number of games casted, so it doesn't really count. But so just doing a run through of all the people who have won awards tonight. So Scout of the season was May from SCCK. Soldier of the season was Jackie Legs, SCCK. Pyro Yahoo as well from SCCK. Then we had Demo was Ediski from Strong Opinions. Heavy Sandburn from SCCK. NG was Clark from SCCK. Medic was CeeJaey, myself from Strong Opinions. Sniper was Ball from Strong Opinions. Spy of the season was Toast, Strong Opinions. Debut of the season was Kunu from Crazy Boy Clan. And finally, MVP of the season was Ball, again from Strong Opinions. So those are the people who have won their awards. Thank you for voting, guys. And yeah, there'll be awards next season, I'm sure. So make sure you get your votes in that time to decide who is going to be the best. I think it was about like 400, 500 votes per class this time.
Yeah, that's
so
decent.
That's pretty decent feedback. I agree. But we're going to wrap it up there. We're going to leave the talking for now and hopefully have some more action around here for the next season. We'll do some shout outs. I'm going to start off. I'm going to go alphabetical order. Cronk. Again, I want to give you my thanks for organising this and grouping everyone together. Any shout outs before we disappear?
Yeah, shout outs to everyone who participated tonight. Shout out to me included in the middle, who should have won Soldier and Debut of the season, but didn't. Shout out to Sek, who should have won NG as well. And yeah, everyone in the community playing Highlander. Good stuff.
Nice stuff. And DVS, any shout outs?
27. Let's go. Yellow, Beckler, Tomato, VGR, Redwood, Chari, Kufel, Asa Dwarf, Babo, Vinegar, Kasuki, everyone from Kasuki's Mumble, Cinder, Shadier, BV, Swanee, Young Ixo, Zamparoni, Daniga, may rest in peace, Quintosh, Varnami, Vituft, Open Squad, Goldratians, Candy Rapper, Forskings, and my boyfriend Sops.
That is quite a list. I'm hoping you didn't miss anyone because they would they wouldn't be happy with that link for
I'm already getting messages, yeah.
So some additions. We'll move down to the farm boy. Sorry, Porky. Any shout outs, my man?
Shout out to Redwood for making high playoffs. Shout out to Included Middle, Moist, all the people that play for Project Tokens, Anus Stretcher. That's it.
Nice stuff. Sandburn, any shout outs?
Shout out to SCCK and shout out to everyone here right now.
Cool. And Stinson,
Right back at you.
Our head admin, any shout outs to the community before we go?
Yes, of course. As always, I'm shout out to my awesome ETF2L staff. I cannot appreciate you guys more. We actually have a whole bunch of awesome people there who are doing so much work for us and for you guys. Most of the things you guys don't even grasp. You can't even know how much effort goes into each and every season. So thank you to Blooders, Ayoshi, Moist, who's else there, Jan, all these unsung heroes. You guys are actually who make these seasons worthwhile for everyone. So I want everyone to just clap your hands very quick here in front of your PCs. Thank you. The one guy did it. Shout out to Herb's Army, my Sixers team. We have been around for 20 years, hopefully going strong for next 20 years. Shout out to the Doctors of Mediocrity, never forget. And shout out to Maria, I love you.
Nice.
Oh, these have been some wholesome shout outs. I'm loving it, guys. I'm loving it.
I forgot one shout.
Also, shout out to Taco.
Yeah, shout out to Failer. Good team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good team.
And TC Frosty's another good team.
I'm going to cut it off there, guys. I'm going to cut you all off. Enough shout-outs. You're getting drunk on the shout-outs, guys. But no, shout-out to you guys, all of you guys, for joining and giving nice feedback and making this a really nice round table for us to kind of, give our input on what is going on. Obviously, Cronk for organising it and Stinson for giving us the results, being the man with the numbers. And all of you guys for watching. And for John, of course. Let's not forget about John. I always leave John for last. Just say John in the background doing all the dirty work for getting the stream actually up and running and getting the little cameras, all our little faces going on, so you can actually see who is talking when they're talking. But also to you guys for watching and supporting the community. It's been nice to have people actually watching and talking in the chat. And hopefully we'll see you for more casts next season. And keep Highlander going. But for now, guys, this has been the Highlander Season 13 Awards Show. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
Ses på spelaren, boys.
Hey.
We clear?
I don't know.
I don't think John's not muted. It's John at his computer.
Are we still online here?
I've written to a new Steam.
I
Go on.
think they're still online.
I think we're still live.
Yeah, I think we're live,
Quick,
yeah.
someone talk.
Ah!
Someone sing. You guys see the football at the weekend?
Shout out to CeeJaey.
Shout out to Stexer.
This is we give a shout out to production, and then production is not turning it
Jonas
off.
not
Shout out to
responding.
John for the awesome production. It's like flawless.
Shout out to my tortoise who's been asleep, and I've been yelling about TF2 for the past.
A shout
half
out
an
for
hour.
my shift that starts in 10 minutes.
I really have to pee though, so you
You're not
guys have a good
allowed
night.
you're not allowed to leave,
Oh,
guys.
Jonas alive. One moment, he says.
Okay, I
All
think.
right.
Okay, bye guys. Bye.